Hello, we are going to wait a few more minutes until everybody's joining. I think we will start at in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. And if somebody
How's
can
that?
tell me, yes,
Great. You still here?
acum.
Can we start, Alexander?
Yes, yes, this is what I wanted to say. That some people joined, and we can start if you're ready.
Okay. Let me know once you see my screen.
Now, yes, everything is good.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Tiberiu. I'm the founder and CEO of Makeitfuture. Um, just for today, we're gonna cover a bit of what does it mean to have an AI agentic company, as well as followed by the AI um, sales workflows that we proposed in our initial meeting. Okay. The Please share your comments. Okay, and ask questions. I We try to keep this a bit interactive, and yeah, let's start. Do we see the chat, by the way? Anybody here on the chat? Send some messages. So this is can everybody? I don't see anything.
I am looking now to see. I think I lost the connection. I think it's me a bit.
I don't see anybody in the chat or in the um, some technical issues today. Sorry for that. Do you see people in the chat? Do you see people joined, or I'm alone?
No, people joined. We are 35. I am not sure why the chat is not working. This is our problem. But people joined. I will look now to see.
Check it somehow. Okay, so what does it mean to have an AI? I think the way companies work is changing a lot. Okay, so just applying AI on top of some processes will not really make things a lot faster. The way things will go faster if we start connecting that AI within the business. Okay, and some of the workflows of today would be in the, let's call it the old way, just agentifying a bit or just automating part of that process. But also we want to look at, okay, how do we really look at the company that's uh, applying AI everywhere? The trend, the way this trend is going, what is really helpful for us what we were seeing, especially now with new startups, is that the revenue per employee is going up. You can do a lot more with or a few person can do a lot more now by using AI. And it seems that token usage is one of the things that's started to be tracked inside these companies rather than headcount. The more a person uses AI, the more productive they begin. Okay, don't really, I don't know, don't pay people by that because they will play with the model, but that's kind of what we're seeing in other companies. Very, very important. It's not just apply an AI, it's more about how do we apply an AI that will also learn from the mistakes and also learn from that company processes. So we have this self-improving loop, right? We need ways to sense sensors. So let's call this having things connected within your CRM, within your meetings, emails, communication, and so on. Having some policies, guardrails. Then the AI will run the different tools, analyze it, whatever, check for quality, and if for any quality drops, have a process, have another agent that will improve it, learn from it, and improve it. Okay, now the chat is working very well. Okay, so what really happens, and we can go for some examples, right? When a query fails for support or for sales or for an internal meeting briefing or whatever, we need a way to spot that mistake, improve the process. That process will open a request, a merge request if it's like a code process or a skill process, and then have another AI review it and deploy it towards the process automatically. The best we can do that, the best the process will improve by itself. Very, very important. What we're seeing is also that in order for the AI to be able to to improve and to be able to uh, help you in developing and managing a company, everything needs to be connected. So if you're doing like a meeting and that meeting is not digitized, that's not part of the AI knowledge, right? So that does not exist. So connect all the data, whatever that might be. Messages, WhatsApp, Slack, emails, meetings, decisions, offline meetings, record everything, digitize that, and be able to give that to an AI agent to really synthesize it and run it. And I see a comment here, basically Hermes. Could be whatever, right? So that it can be any kind of agentic harness, and that's really going to my next slide. It's not about prompting and reasoning anymore. It's really going towards having an agentic harness, right? So this is kind of the three different levels of how AI works. Just a simple prompt, a smarter model that's using reasoning, and then latest agentic harnesses, right? Could be Hermes, could be OpenClaw, could be directly Claude or Codex, Claude Code or Codex. Really depends on your preference. Hermes is one of our preference as well. and Claude, we are heavy users of Claude and Hermes. What really powers all of this is skills, okay? And you're gonna see me talking about skills when we're talking about the sales processes. But the very important part is really capturing that knowledge, okay? If we cannot capture that knowledge and create that skill properly, it will not run. We create a skill, we have a process that will improve that skill. That's the way we improve the AI. Okay, so what really skills are just standard recipes, standard process maps for the AI to know what to do in certain situations. Okay, um, you can use that skill with Claude Code. You can use that skill with Codex. You can use that skill with ChatGPT, Claude, and so on. Okay, there are different ways of using that, and we've been working with different ways of doing that. And by the way, I'm going to share here a site uh, called skillsmanager.uk. We just launched in beta this this week. It's practically a way for organizations to manage multiple skills in an organization. So what that really means, you can have a lot of different organization skills. You have a way to bring those skills together. Okay, so you have the different sources. In my case, I am having some skills from Anthropic, GitHub, private skills internally, and so on. And I have a way to really enforce who's having access to what inside the different teams. We have sales, marketing, admin, and I give access to those skills. And there's a way to load that by MCP to users, and then the user can give feedback on those skills, right? So take a look, free to use, free to test, give us feedback on that. But practically with using that skill application, you can bring the same skills to any kind of agent that has access to skills or to MCP. And by using that, you're able to share those skills within a team and keep track of the updates required by different people in your team, and keep track of all the people or keep track of who's using the skills and improving the skills and so on. Okay, so now going back a bit, okay, that's a bit of the introduction on, okay, how things work, just to give a bit of context. How can we put a sales team to work? Okay, and we have here I would show you different ways of doing that. Okay, same loop, context, skills, human in the loop sometimes, for preparing scoring calls first, or scoring companies and contacts, preparing for those, and keep everything in sync. So most of the salespeople, based on the knowledge outside, they spend less than 30 times on selling rather than spending time on researching, prioritizing, briefing, adding data to a CRM, and so on. Okay, so that really takes a lot of time from them. And this is changing, of course, because with AI, of course, you can do things a lot faster. And that's why we're here to show you, okay, how do we use AI internally at Makeitfuture, and how do we see our customers using it, and how we can make these processes better. We will share the link to the skills manager. Okay, so automated lead prioritization. What we're seeing is that once you start having some marketing campaigns, having some different marketing actions, we're seeing companies getting a lot of different leads. How can we then prioritize these leads? It is very important to find the right leads to focus on. If you have a lot of leads, you need to make sure, hey, the right leads you will assign the right priority in managing those leads. In some other cases, for bigger teams, different people inside the team are managing different territories, different parts of those, or different industries for the leads, different company sizes, and so on. Right. So instead of just looking at those leads and take it as it comes, we can do a lot better, right? We should not wait until the best leads go cold. We should always work on what are the best leads that you have right now. So how do we really can do that, right? First of all, there is a lot of data. So first, enrich. We use Apollo, but you can use any other platform that has this kind of data about companies and contacts, right? So first, enrich every time you get a new contact and a new company, enrich that, understand who they are, define a fit score. You really need to have defined, okay, what's your ideal customer profile? Give you an example. Small companies, big companies, you're working with SMBs, you're working with enterprise. So spend a bit of time and define your ICP and really understand your ICP. And then the AI will be able to score it based on that ICP. If you're running any kind of marketing, uh, you also need to have an intent score. What we use here at Makeitfuture, for example, as intent score, we're looking at uh, people that join webinars, people that click on our marketing newsletters, people that are booking calls with us, people that are sending us emails and things like that, right? So all of these intents are adding score to that person, and then auto assign. Auto assigning means having an agent that goes, checks all this information, and then based on that information, it will automatically assign that to one of our sales reps. Okay, so what that really pays off as you have more conversation with the accounts that actually convert, and you have the right people assigned to the right accounts. How do we really do that? Okay, so there's two ways we can do that. One is we have a Claude Code, in this case, scoring agent. We have a HubSpot daily score. So this skill that we're running here it knows very well our ICP. Who are the different profiles that we work with? It understands who is the owner of each ICP. So it knows if on that sales call should be Tiberiu, or in that call should be Petru or Nicola, or whoever from our team to join that call. And it's using a direct MCP connection towards Apollo, towards our HubSpot, and it's updating that data automatically. Okay, to make that very, very simplistic, we use for that, or you can use for that Claude Code. We're not running it as it is. This is an example, okay, and I'll show you how we run it in a bit. So the easiest way, if you want to run this, have Claude connected to your HubSpot or to your CRM and to your enrichment platform, and then just tell Claude, hey, I want to have this scoring. Add these fields in my CRM if you don't really already have it, and then have that. Okay, I will ask Claude now. Can you give me the details of the HubSpot score HubSpot skill? And we are running this. In a bit differently. I'll show you in a bit, but you can do this very easily, right? You create your own skill with a scheduled task in Claude Code. You connect it to your different things. Like I said, you need to have your different MCP there. Maybe I can show it easier here than wait for this. And this will return the, and I know why. I was showing you earlier this platform. I just put that in, and I think it's not yet synced to and approved within the organization. Let me approve it now, and then I will have it access to it. But practically, you're creating that daily check and improvement to your CRM, and then you get to understand who it is and how to do it. Okay, Alexandra, maybe when we send the newsletter out, ask me to give you this score to link it towards the newsletter so people can use it to create their own. So I don't wait for this one right now. How we also do it at Makeitfuture, and I think that's kind of the way to a more automatic way of doing it. We have an interface that's connected to our website. So whenever somebody goes and this is going to be like, by the way, with our new transition, we're just launching the website, a new version in the next days. So when somebody goes on our website, they will start, when they book a call, they will need to first input their company. Okay, so I'll put here, for example, I don't know, ubexo.com. So when they do this, this form from our website goes automatically to Apollo and get the details of this company. So then based on who this company is, in this case, Ubexo has 2,200 employees, based on who they are, right? So I'll put here, whatever my name, doesn't really matter right now. Okay, so based on this, this is being sent towards a make process. That process automatically identifies who should be on the call, and it automatically forwards that person to this meeting link. Okay, so the brain, it's already there back into the process. Okay, how that really works is we have, let me open that scenario for you. We have a few scenario running that. It's very simple. We have a webhook, which is opening that website. I'll show you in a second. So this webhook URL here, it's opening that script, which is this website that's embedded to our website. This script, it's all loaded inside this, and it has some connections to another scenario. This is the other scenario that's giving the details for companies from Apollo. Okay, so you can see this is querying by domain here, and it's returning the data towards the website. And then this is, if I put here another company, I don't know, Emerson, you see, it automatically goes there, takes the detail, you fill it, and then it goes to our CRM, right? So by doing that, we have a very simple form. Then we have another agent. In our case, we're using Hermes as well. We have another agent that's getting those details, and this is getting sent towards our CRM, right? So we have a bit of AI and Apollo, and all the data, then it's sent and booked automatically. So by doing that, you really get the customer gets the automatic assignment when they book the call, and also they get the chance to book directly with the person that has the time, right? So we rely a lot on booking the calls automatically. So we want to position that booking link automatically in front of our customers. By the way, to create an interface like that, it's just HTML and JavaScript. We have a skill for that as well. Check our library, and you can generate these interfaces that you embed in a webhook very, very easy. Okay, instant meeting and account briefings. Before every meeting, it's very nice to have like a clear explanation or a clear briefing who's on that call. Okay, and that's something that we've learned that AI is again very good at. For this, I created this one. There's few ways. Okay, if you're like a Google user, and that's kind of how I started with this. If you're a Google user, you have Google Studio, Workflow Studio. And then inside Workflow Studio, I started with a very simple flow, pre-meeting intelligence brief, where I just ask Google before, based on a meeting, okay, 30 minutes before the meeting, or you can do that an hour before the meeting, check some stuff, okay? So I asked Gemini in this case to go act as a senior intelligence analyst. and go and give me a briefings like that. Let me show an example. Can I find them? What's the title of this? Meeting briefing. Anyway, Google is not helping me right now. So that's the way I do it, simplistic in Google. What's the downside of that? The downside of that is that you only do it based on knowledge that you have in public knowledge. So Gemini will search for this meeting, but it will not use any kind of MCP to Apollo or any kind of meeting towards any other company, right? So that's kind of the downside of having that. Let me see. I think I found one. No. Yeah. Yes, I found one. Let me open this in a new tab to show you how it looks like. If I can. Yes. Okay, so here I have a meeting with one of our partners, Bootspace. He gave me the details of who Bootspace is, what their numbers are, who's on that call, and give me, okay, what are the pain points and so on. So by doing that, I can read that before the meeting and be prepared, okay, what I'm going to discuss on that meeting. Another way of doing that, if you have Claude, for example, is to have inside Claude, make sure you give it access to your calendar. And then inside that calendar, ask him to do exactly this. I have a calendar. Help me do a briefing before every meeting. I said, do that every 2 hours, 8 to 8 p.m. weekdays, and then it will run that application, right? And right now I'm going to show you how that looks like. Okay. And we can run it once, right? So you have the pre-meeting briefings, you have the different steps that it was defined for that. Just ask Claude, hey, do this pre-meeting briefing for me and run it there. If you're using Hermes, very similar. Have Hermes connected to your different things. And if you also connect Hermes or Claude to your MCP with Apollo, to your MeetGeek or any kind of meeting notes, and to your Slack and so on, it can really do the same briefing from all the different sources of data that you have. Okay, so do that 20, 30 minutes before the meeting, maybe even 1 hour before the meeting, and get one-page brief about that really before the call. The last part, how do we, kind of skip that. How do we skip the work of keeping everything up to date? We started this few months back when we started to get all these details from our Slack and update the CRM, and we presented that in a previous call. And then it changed and it changed and it changed over time. What it really may be interesting to see right now is this starts to be data not just coming from Slack, it starts to be data coming from everywhere. Emails, my inbox, my colleague's inbox, the let me see how I okay. So help me show me the data skill for meeting for Makeitfuture project overview and CRM updating. Okay, so by doing that, so we have a skill that's always has the knowledge on how to query our different sources of data. What that really means is he knows uh, what are the sources HubSpot, what are the sources um, for Slack, what are the different channels, what are the different um, Google Drive folders where we save the data, the meetings, and so on. And then every time we have a new meeting, every time there's a new call, it will automatically take that data, extract it, and moving that data into a CRM, moving that data into different files, sending it for the marketing pipeline. So for example, if there's an idea that is mentioned during one of those meetings, it's automatically distributed towards marketing. If we need to notify any kind of Slack, that's any kind of people, we do that through Slack notifications. So practically, there's an always running process that's verifying all these new meetings, putting those in categories, and sending those meetings towards the different sources. On top of that, we're also aggregating all the data from our communication channels with this uh, skill and updating the different platforms for everybody to be aware about it. Okay, so each of these three workflows is just, I would say, very general workflows, just basic ranking, but it's a lot very powerful. Basic briefing before the meeting. Again, just get your things prepared before you jump on a call with anybody, and then capture everything, all the outcomes from that meeting, uh, so you can update that later. Okay, so here I have, okay, from my favorite skill library, I have the Makeitfuture project review and the HubSpot Makeitfuture that are getting the details and are updating based on this. The way I run this, I could run it with a schedule inside Cloud Desktop. The way we run it is with a Hermes inside our organization. And by the way, if you're working on Slack, use Slack for your Hermes connection. And every time there's a new challenge, every time there's a new process, just tell Hermes to build that for you. So AI does the work, your team stays in control. That's kind of the motto. I wanted to also show you into this last few things is how we identify right now Makeitfuture. I think it seems to start a very common trend online. Okay, what are the different processes? So on one side, we're looking at the sales processes. I showed you a few of the things right now. What are the next things we're working right now is how do we analyze all these meetings, and we create a playbook, and we always optimize that. My presentation just jumped. Sorry for that. How do we identify that playbook? So every time, after every one opportunity, we get what worked, what didn't work, and we update that playbook automatically. Uh, how do we use that for quoting and forecasting? For marketing and content, every time we do a project or after every sales call, we analyze that. We extract the data and send it for ideas for marketing. Out of projects, we extract case studies, and then we publish those case studies to our platform. And then we have an agent that's analyzing those, and we improve our SEO for those articles as it goes. Um, how do we use different skills to build things, right, in our engineering team? And that can be skills for like building an interface like I showed you for the bookings, for calling, for booking, for make stuff, other skills for developing application or developing scenarios and so on. Of course, invoicing, time tracking, checks, and all these kind of processes fit very well with skills for administrative, and we're working there to improve the way we um, check all the time that we track as a team. How do we then embed it automatically into invoicing, so we reduce all the time that we spend on invoicing. For the product and platforms, that's where again it's more correlated to marketing and also correlated to product feedback that we get, so then we improve the products automatically. And but not least, security, right? How do we help, how do we audit and make sure that everything that we build it stays safe and it's um, working correctly. I think that's my last slide. Any questions? I've lost my Alexander. You're still there?
Yes, it looks like there's a question on the chat. No, you're back.
Okay, so there's a question here that okay about GDPR. GDPR, the from my perspective, GDPR and the okay the LLM that you use, it's really up to the company policies on the LLM that you use. The way you process the details or the way you process the data with an LLM needs to be part of your terms and condition that you do with that customer, right? It's not about the data that you have in your CRM. It's your data, right? And you need to be very specific and tell your customers how you're using that, right? But it's not your customer limiting you by the, especially on the sales side, right? Um, when they click on a form, just explain clearly, hey, this is going to be processed terms and condition, and that's it. I I would recommend, yeah, reading more about that, but it's more about the your company internal processes and um, where you and the models that you use. And by the way, you can use a European model if you want, like Mistral or One AI or whichever that you prefer. I don't think you need to send a DUI email to all your customers. Just put it in your terms and conditions. Any other questions?
Okay, if there are no other questions, maybe we can end soon. I wanted to say that we are going to organize another webinar in 2 weeks, but I'm going to send all the details to you in an email after today. Ah, sorry, there's another question.
What do you mean when you ask how do you deal with multiple sales, location, and languages? In terms of the website, in terms of the who this gets assigned to? To give an example, in our case, we have, depending on the size of that, so it's everything within the ICP definition. The ICP will contain okay, and the assignment towards different persons will have the logic of okay, if this is from I don't know UK, it goes to our business development manager to Paul. If this is from Romania, will go to my colleague Nikolai. If this is a company beyond a certain number of persons goes to me. If it's below that, it goes to Nikolai. If this is within France and a certain size, it goes to Jean-Luc and so on. So we just need to define those rules, and that goes. In terms of translation, if we're looking at from a website translation, that's just part of the website. Does that answer the question, Reza? I hope that does. Um, Okay. Um, Thanks everyone for joining. Um, if you want us to change the way we do these webinars, if you think that, hey, let's go in more details and create one of these skills together, in my experience from the other webinar, it just takes a lot of time, and we're just waiting for the AI, so that's why we kind of stop it. But if you have a different preference in what would you like us to show you and how we build it, happy to do that development during the call as well. Thank you, and see you on our next webinars.
Thank you, Tibi. And as I said today, I will send an email or tomorrow to everybody that participated. Here you are going to have the video, the full recording, and I will also add a form in which you can say, as also TB said, whatever you want to see in the next webinars. Maybe you want to see a specific workflow or a specific AI agent. We were thinking for the one in 2 weeks to focus on HR, but as I said, we are open to try new ideas and examples. So thank you everybody and see you in 2 weeks. I will also send you the link with the new webinar as well in the email. Bye.